broad peak in the Himalayas. A British climber is missing, presumed dead. A drone cameraman searching for him spots a shape on the mountain.
Snow can hide everything in plain sight.
We've got this giant shark vertebra. This would have been a huge beast.
But a drone can catch the details you'd normally miss live.
In what is considered by many the most terrifying crash ever, take a look at this. No.
Ice that bleeds, dangerous rescues, and steep falls, there are perils everywhere.
This time, they produce a subsurface wave.
And not to mention the deadly hunt. In this video, we will look at the strangest things found in the snowy world. Let's dive in. Number 40. 1. Blood Falls. There's a spot in the endless icy sheet of Antarctica where it looks like the Earth itself is bleeding. Looks eerie, right? But don't worry, it's not actual blood, even though it's called Blood Falls.
All chock full of brine that's super high in iron. And that's what gives the falls their signature red hue.
And it's just a super cool natural phenomenon. The scary blood-red water spilling onto the ice comes from Taylor Glacier.
It's an area that's known for its extreme conditions, with mean temperatures of 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 17 degrees Celsius.
Hidden beneath that glacier is a salty, iron-rich lake that's been sealed off for millions of years. Cracks in the glacier let some of this ancient water escape. When that salty, iron-packed water reaches the surface, it reacts with the air. The iron oxidizes and rusts, giving the water a striking red color. It's like nature's rusty faucet, but on a massive frozen scale. You think that's crazy? Well, wait till you see the number 1 entry on our list, number 40. The Secret Cave. Antarctica is a sacred continent. Nobody knows what's going on there, and because it is so big, there is no way to figure it out. But then drone footage like this pops up on your screen, and you're left wondering if the news of aliens and tunnels to secret cities is true after all.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
Look at this cave in the middle of a mountain. It looks too misshapen to be called a natural tunnel. It almost looks as if someone has dug out the way into the hole. The same goes for the entrance. How does one even go inside without risking his life? Number 39. The Fossil. Antarctica seems nothing more than a giant chunk of ice. But there is more hiding there than you know, like these 71-million-year-old fossil. Apart from a few ammonites, a couple of vertebrae of a giant shark roamed the oceans millions of years ago. Pretty cool, right?
We've got this giant shark vertebra. This would have been a huge beast.
Number 38. Spacecraft discovered. This footage has sparked quite a debate on the internet. Nobody can tell for sure what this giant thing is, or what it was doing jumping out of the ocean, but people have a lot of theories. Some are out there calling it a sea monster that wants to breathe in the fresh air. Others think that it is a scrap of metal from a spacecraft that was buried here a long time ago. A lot of people seem to agree on the latter. What do you think? Number 37. The Massive Fall. Can you imagine going down a 1,600 feet fall and still coming out alive? Believe it or not, this man did that in style. The skier lost control halfway into his ski and rolled down the mountain from thousands of feet above. Luckily, the man fell into a small patch of blanketed snow, saving him from deadly injury. I'd call this a miracle. Speaking of miracles, check out this next drone footage. Number 36. The Icy Rescue. Have you ever seen a live rescue on ice? The first time's the charm. Apparently, search and rescue operation officers often use a drone to help find missing people. In this scenario, a four-wheeler broke through the thin ice sheet and fell into the river. Luckily, the officers arrived just in time to get them out. They rushed in to help the people on their own four-wheeler, sliding through the ice. They got the people out and even took time to find their cell phones from the water. Talk about dedication. Number 35. The Face-Off. Markhor is the favorite prey of the mountain wildcat, but this one seemed to have gotten the tiger hot on its heel. The Markhor jumps on the slippery mountainous terrain, but is too slow. The tiger leaps at the goat, ready to go for the neck. But wait, did they just fall off a cliff? The tiger held onto its meal tightly as the duo rolled down the rocks. They stopped a few feet down, unharmed. The tiger took a rough fall, but it was worth the prize it got. Number 34. The Terrifying Rescue. A bunch of skiers had found themselves right in the middle of an avalanche. The search and rescue officers sent a drone to fish them out. Then, they used a dog to claw out the snow and a chopper to bring them back to safety. The officers can be seen helping the latter climb out of the ice. Number 33. Orca Hunt. You'd think seals would be safe on the ice since orcas can't exactly climb up there, right? Well, think again. Orcas literally have a sneaky little trick up their tails. It's called wave washing. Here's how it works. A group of orcas swims in perfect sync toward the ice floe where the seal is chilling. When they get close enough, they use their momentum and powerful tails to create a massive wave.
It breaks the ice into smaller pieces,
knocking the seal right off the ice and into the water. In this case, the seal dives in, trying to outswim the orcas and make it to another chunk of ice. But even if it makes it to safety, the orcas can just repeat the whole process. For the orcas, it's all about strategy, teamwork, and a meal. Number 32. Outsmarted by the drone. This guy thought he could sneak into the highway and flee from the cops, but the drone flying above his head gave away his location. The thief had stolen a vehicle but ditched it midway into the chase. He then started running on foot, but just as he crossed the highway, a duo of police officers caught up to him. They grabbed him the first chance they got and took him into custody. Number 31. Pileup. Driving on snowy, slippery roads is a real test of skill, but even the best drivers can lose to the snow. Just look at what happened on this snow-covered road in Missouri, USA. Authorities reported over 500 crashes on this single road. Number 30. Ambush on the seal. This seal has absolutely no idea what's lurking in the waters, eyeing him. A hungry polar bear was smart enough to stay low as it slowly swam toward the lone seal. But the animal's sixth sense tipped it off, and the seal jumped into the water in a state of panic. Sadly, it was too late for the seal. The polar bear hopped right after the seal and killed it swiftly. The hungry predator then brought its meal back on land to quieten its grumbling stomach. Number 29. The dangerous rescue. It isn't always you see a drone recording something horrifying. Look at this clip here. You'll see a group of rescue officers circling a tiny patch of ice. They are busy trying to save a girl trapped in the ice. What happened is a pair of 11-year-olds fell into the waters while they were walking on the frozen river. While one got away, the other was trapped in the ice. Number 28. The unexpected avalanche. This guy was busy skiing at staggering mountain heights when he did something terrible. He somehow caused the snow to split and fall, not just from one place. The chain reaction got so bad that it caused the entire scenery to shift, forcing the launch of a massive avalanche down the mountain. But here's the surprising part. The man escaped the disaster from a mere feet away without a single scratch. Number 27. Beluga whales and polar bears. Can you guess who goes after who? You'd be surprised to know it is the beluga whales that the predator of the frozen lands hunts. When hungry, polar bears can go after anything. From giant walruses to beluga whales swimming in the ocean, the hungry ones don't look at the size of the prey. Look at this clip here. The two bears waited until the water was at the perfect level.
As the waters rise, the belugas come farther inshore.
One of them kept guard, while the other hopped right in to go after the whales. Before you know it, the mighty predator had a tight hold of the unlucky whale. Number 26. The unlucky truck. The footage seems pretty normal, doesn't it? A train stopped on the rails? Wait till you see what's hiding behind the train. Yep, a maintenance truck smashed into its rear. But how did this truck even get wedged underneath the train? That's still under investigation. All that the media knows is that the train collided with the truck. What do you think happened out here? Number 25. The dramatic lake rescue. There is nothing more intense than watching this drone footage. The search and rescue officers got a call about a dog that had fallen through the ice. But by the time they got there, the anxious owner had dived right after the dog. The worst part was that he was now stuck too. The officers first got the man out and then looked for the dog. They spotted the poodle trying to climb up the ice a little while later. They rushed in to save the freezing dog from the icy waters and help the owner reunite with his friend. Number 24. The silent savior. Did you know humpback whales go against the mighty killer whales? Not to fight or anything, to mess around. You see, killer whales like to go after the humpback's baby, and that's not a grudge the humpbacks are willing to let go.
Killer whales sometimes take humpback whale calves, and scientists believe this drives the adults to try and disrupt any killer whale hunt that they come across.
So, when this group of killer whales came rushing to attack a seal, the pair of humpbacks got in their way to try and stop the hunt. The crazy thing is that they knew exactly when and how the killer whales would attack, timing their own intrusion to the millisecond. That's some intelligent beings right here. Number 23. Wolverine of the wild. Wolverine doesn't just exist on your TV screen. It is out in the wild too, and wolves do not like to be friends with them. Number 22. Hanging alone. In 2018, 65-year-old climber Rick Allen decided to break away from his team on Broad Peak in the Himalayas. He planned to climb the summit alone via a new steep route.
Scottish climber Rick Allen was scaling the world's 12th tallest mountain, more than 26,000 feet. He was feared dead when he didn't return. It turns out he had tumbled onto an ice cliff. A cook at base camp spotted his backpack near where he had fallen.
A whole day passed without any sign of it. People assumed the worst, but 36 hours later, something remarkable happened. A man flying a drone spotted something unusual. At first, he thought it was an abandoned backpack, but then it moved. Flying in closer, he realized it was Rick Allen, lying on his chest and clinging to his ice axe.
So that he's laying on his chest, he's hanging on his ice axe, so that he's not moving around.
The climbers on top were alerted and managed to rescue. He had survived a 100-foot fall off an ice cliff, though he was dehydrated, frostbitten, and battered. Miraculously, he was still in decent shape. Number 21. Bigfoot caught walking. Drones record the weirdest of things, and this clip isn't any different. The footage shows a giant creature taking a stroll in the wooden forest. Its gait looks a lot like a human, but here's the thing. The creature is simply too humongous to be called anything but a cryptid. Not to mention, it is pretty hairy too. No human or animal looks like that. Viewers seem to be convinced that this is the footage of a Bigfoot. They have even called it one of the most convincing clips out there. Do you agree? Number 20. Found right on time. A police drone was sent out at night to find the 2-year-old that had gone missing in the local neighborhood. It didn't take long before the drone brought this footage and helped the cops find the toddler in a jiffy. Number 19. Curiosity. A man sent his drone into a desolate area of Canada that is home to many polar bears in hopes of filming them. And he wasn't the only one excited about the drone in the area. He hit the jackpot. A mama polar bear with her 2 cubs. So he moved the drone closer. The cubs got curious and came forward to check it out.
But as the drone got closer, the curious cubs investigated.
That's when Mom's instincts kicked. She stood up on her hind legs to get a better look at this strange, buzzing intruder. She even tried sniffing it, probably wondering if it was food. Once she realized nothing wasn't anything worth bothering, the trio calmly moved on, leaving the drone operator with some great footage and maybe a little relief. Number 18. The night rescue. Drones may assist in a search and rescue operation in daylight, but have you ever seen one come to the officer's aid at night? This footage shows officers in an airboat.
The man called 911, telling them he went into the water but was back on the ice,
trying to rescue a man from the freezing temperatures. It turns out he had gone walking when the ice gave and he fell in. But he had his phone with him, so he climbed out of the water and called 911. The officers used the drone and its spotlight to find the stranded man in the dark. He was then taken to the hospital to treat his hypothermia. Number 17. The messy crash. This drone wasn't sent to record the crash. It was flown to capture the carcass the accident left behind. The footage is from Turkey, where a high-speed train drove straight into a pedestrian overpass and a railway engine, ripping it into pieces. The impact caused the train to flip over from its track and into a deadly trap. The damage was so terrifying that a couple of people lost their lives, and tens of people were wounded due to the accident. Number 16. Just kidding. A tiny penguin was out for a swim, hoping to grab some food, when its day took a terrifying turn, and a leopard seal spotted it. The chase was on. The penguin made an impressive leap out of the water.
The seal seems to be toying with this penguin.
But the danger wasn't over. The seal was still right behind it. The seal got within biting range at one point, but didn't strike. Finally, the penguin got onto a chunk of ice, gasping for breath. Safe, right? Not quite. The seal followed it onto the ice, and the penguin, too exhausted to move, didn't run. It looked like the end, but then something unexpected happened. The seal got up close, stared at the penguin for a moment, and left. It slid back into the water, leaving the penguin untouched. Now, that's not something you see every day. Number 15. Playful beast. Polar bears are not the kind of creatures anyone would want to mess with. They are fierce creatures. There is no argument there. But just like dogs, sometimes they are in the mood to play. Not with humans, of course, but this polar bear found a very unusual playmate, a drone.
She has a real personality, and she just kind of fell in love with a drone one year. But I kind of used the drone to take her down to the edge of the ice and learning to look for seals.
Researchers noticed the bear's curiosity about their drone and used it to guide her toward the edge of the ice where she might find some food. Smart move, right? While the drone couldn't exactly give her a belly rub or some treats, maybe it was nice for her to have a little company out there. Number 14. New soldiers. Recently, North Korea sent thousands of soldiers to Russia to help with the war effort. While Russian soldiers might be used to Ukrainian drones by now, the North Koreans were getting their first taste of the drone game, and it wasn't exactly a warm welcome.
Russian Defense Ministry confirmed the surprise large-scale Ukrainian attack on border Kursk region on Sunday. Ukrainian army launched offensive in different directions of the front line in Kursk.
The footage shows them running and ducking as drones buzz overhead, clearly giving them a hard time. They keep firing at the drones, but the Ukrainian operators have been at this for a while now. They know exactly how to dodge bullets and keep their drones in the air, making them a nightmare in the skies. Number 13. The frozen ship. Imagine being on a ship for a long ride, and the water freezes midway. Would you get out and enjoy the view, or go berserk seeing the wide open frozen land before you? Number 12. The hunt of a snow leopard. Meet the snow leopard, the beast of the snowy mountain. Seeing this predator hunt will make you forget all the sneaky hunting techniques you've seen before. The leopard may be both bulky and massive, but it can run at the speed of the wind. That too on mountain. The Markhor got away, but at what price? Number 11. The helicopter crash. The drone was busy filming the beautiful landscape when it stumbled upon a terrifying sight. A helicopter tore down to bits and pieces. Apparently, the local chopper was on a routine maintenance flight when its engine started failing. The crew sent out a distress signal to the headquarters, but it was too late. The officers found the helicopter crashed a few miles away from the airport, taking the lives of 3 people aboard the flight. Talk about a tragic ending. Number 10. The burglary suspect. Who says drones are useless? Look at this one here. This is a police drone, and it managed to find a robbery suspect hiding in the local neighborhood. The machine led the cops toward the suspect, and he immediately surrendered to the arrest. Number 9. Wolves digging tunnels. Are wolves digging tunnels in the snow? Now, that's new. This footage shows a group of wolves finding their way through a tall wall of snow. Have you seen such a thing before? Number 8. The drastic fall. I don't know what this walrus was trying to do that high on the cliff, but it sure got the bad taste of its adventures when the animal slipped and rolled off down the mountain. Sources claim that it was fine by the time it hit the bottom, but that was one nasty fall. Number 7. The Bigfoot sighting. The legend of Bigfoot doesn't seem to die. There's always a small clue that gets everyone asking the same question. Is Bigfoot real? Well, this drone footage brought all the experts back to the table. What you see is a large group of elks in the snow, but if you look closely on your far right, you will spot a figure standing in the woods. It was fine when it was still, but then the strange figure started moving. Now, you might think that's a man standing there, but this is drone footage. No man appears that big through a drone flying that high in the sky, and it doesn't look like an animal either. So, what is it? Bigfoot? Number 6. Ambush on the North Korean. This drone footage is unlike any other thing you'll see today. Simply too disturbing. The video shows drones flying into tanks and soldiers. Then, the footage cuts off. What you are seeing here are explosive drones sent by the Ukrainian military to target the North Korean troops. These flying machines were so merciless that they alone wiped out nearly 200 army troops. Pretty brutal, if you ask me. Number 5. Eagle versus goat. Now, here's something you don't see every day. A goat was busy grazing in the mountains when an eagle popped into the scene. After the least amount of struggle, it grabbed the goat by its hind legs and tried to fly away with it. But midway into the flight, the poor goat crashed into the rocks and slipped off the cliff from a staggering height. The killer eagle flew away like it was no big deal, but the goat hit the bottom with a loud thud. Do you think it survived? Number 4. Unusually armed. Let's dive back into drone wars, but this time with a twist you probably haven't seen before. The target? A Russian spy drone, also known as Zala.
You can see the tactic here is to basically whack away the rear propeller of the Zala. I think this is a tactic work in process.
These drones usually scan areas to pinpoint targets for attack, but Ukraine came up with a surprisingly simple yet creative way to deal with it. They attached a stick to their drone. Yes, a stick. It's like a wizard's eye view of a flying broomstick. The plan was straightforward. Use the stick to jam the propeller and bring the spy drone crashing down. The propeller turned out tougher than expected, but still, what a clever idea. Maybe they'll upgrade from a stick to something sturdier next time. Number 3. The owl hunt. A mouse was recorded climbing out of the snow, probably to catch a view of its surrounding. That ended up being costly for the rodent. A snowy owl was on the prowl. It took less than a few seconds for the owl to lunge after the mouse, grab the rodent by its claws, and fly away. That ought to be the smoothest hunt out there. Number 2. Giant footprints in the snow. Do you spot something strange in this drone footage? Look closely. There is a trail of footprints going up the mountain. Even from a drone's point of view, you can see how massive those impressions look in the snow. Tell me you didn't think of Bigfoot the moment you saw this footage. If not, what are these? Where are they going? Any guesses? Number 1. Teamwork or betrayal. A lucky drone found a pack on the move and soon found their target, a bison herd. Now, these creatures are big. We're talking about the biggest bulls in the world. So, a single wolf couldn't take one down, and the herd knows it. The bison stick together, keeping the young in the middle and forming a defensive circle. Every time the wolves try to break through, the herd holds strong.
The wolves up their game, harrying the herd, a ploy to trigger a stampede and split away one of the smaller ones.
But eventually, panic sets in. A few bison break formation, and the circle collapses. The wolves take their chance, chasing the herd until they isolate one bison. Even then, it's no easy task. This bull fights back, thrashing and trying to escape. Then, out of nowhere, another bison charges in, ramming right into the one under attack. Did it have a grudge? Who knows? The wolves didn't stop to wonder. That's all, folks, on the drama that was captured by a drone. Which of these clips was your favorite? What is the strangest thing you've seen with a drone? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, make sure you smash the like button and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.